What's going on, Internet? The Black Hokage here, A.K.I. TBH. And to be honest, I'd like to welcome you guys back to the Game and Illuminaughty podcast. We are the Enlightened Gamers, and you're now tuned in to episode 128. If you're watching the video version of the show at youtube.com/GI updates, know the show is available on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, Amazon, and all other major podcast platforms. And of course, if you're listening to the audio, come on over and check out the video version at youtube.com/GI updates. Also, be sure to rate the show 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We need your 5-star rating on Apple and Spotify to help us push up the algorithm, so we can bring in new potential listeners. God damn, I know how to talk. To help us grow in the platforms. But let me introduce you guys to my co-hosts. The first of which still hasn't pressed Ace for his Elden Ring footage. This is a crime, if you ask me. We still don't know if he beat the game. I'm just saying. UTX, JG the Don, say what up to the people.
Hey. I mean, I haven't been pressing the guy as much as you have because you're trying to push this agenda. I know what type of time that you're on. This man is playing Sekiro now, trying to deflect and divert from the fact that he took 16 hours. I see the jig here. Don't try to play me. You were still, your trial has been completed already. Yeah. We already know you were clinically insane, all right? You got another case coming, so just wait on it, buddy.
Wow, that's crazy. So you guys are cool with him not releasing a Recore review, and he doesn't have to show what he. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. He doesn't have to show the Elden Ring footage. Oh yeah, I beat Elden Ring, by the way, haters. Anyways, my second co-host has time to mod Star Wars games, but then he cries about having to download games for free available on the Gamepass. So we have something to talk about on the podcast and give you guys this quality entertainment. Gaming Ethos, say what up to the people.
What up, everybody? I did that shit.
That's me. Oh shit. Before we get into the show, freebies for the month of June 2022 on PlayStation. You guys get God of War. That's God of War 2018. Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Strikers, and then Nickelodeon All-Star Brawls. And then on Xbox, you guys get Avon Colony, Project High Rise, Super Meat Bowl, and Meat Boy Bowl, Super Meat Boy, and then Rascals, and then there's a bunch of other free games on PC. I was too lazy to look them up because whatever. Delays, releases, updates. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. They released a couple teasers for that. It'll drop on October 28th, so it has a fall release date. And then the worldwide review for the gameplay will be June 8th. Fun fact, today in which we're recording is June 5th, so we can't talk about the game because it hasn't released in which the time in which we're recording. Were any of these teasers doing anything for you guys?
The trailer that well, a lot of people were speculating about, like, I don't know why they're speculating, like the real life trailer that looked cool, but a lot of people were talking about Ghost and they wanted his like original mask, and people were just debating about that stuff. But I mean, the trailer is the trailer. Like we all want to see the actual gameplay, so we're just waiting on that and what they're going to show. But it's Call of Duty. I absolutely refuse to, get sucked back into what could potentially be a decent Call of Duty. So I'll just let everybody else play, and if I get the game for free, I'll try it out, and when the beta comes out, I'll try that out.
Yeah, during the teaser trailer for the one where they revealed the release date, like they're teasing the shipment map, which is a classic Modern Warfare 2 map. And like, to me, it's just like, I feel like it's confusing for people because it's like they say this is not a direct sequel or a direct remake of the original Modern Warfare 2, but a sequel to the 2019 reboot of Modern Warfare. I think the marketing is, but then you're showing old maps to bring in like that nostalgia. It's like, which one is it, bro? Like, why not just remake the game everybody knows and loves? Because that other Modern Warfare from 2019 is dog shit, and I don't have much faith in this game, like based off the previous one. You got any feelings towards it, Ethos?
I guess I'm looking forward to it because every other FPS right now is mid. So yeah, I guess why not?
Okay, bet. Well, yeah, look out for that October 28th when it drops. Gameplay will be revealed in 3 days in which we're recording this, so it'll be interesting. Probably next podcast we'll talk about that, as well as whatever was revealed during the Summer Games Fest, because that's this week as well. So we got a lot of the gaming news is heating up. It's heating up. I think it's about that time. It's E3.
Content.
Yeah, and then this article dropped on May 26th, so I don't know how viable it still is, but apparently God of War Ragnarok appears that it's still going to have a 2022 release date. I don't know how much I believe this. We haven't seen any gameplay since that initial reveal, but this article is claiming, and this is Forbes too. It's not some random website. So I mean, hopefully, because looking at the rest of the year after Starfield got delayed till 2023, like what else is coming out this year?
I mean, yeah, 2023 seems like it's going to be the big hitter year. Like we're just kind of like whatever at this point with 2022. So I'm not really expecting too much out of the end of the year from any real big video games. But me, Dos said on I think like the previous couple podcasts that I still like, we just don't think that it's coming out 2022. So it's interesting that like this came out and you know the like actual people that are working on the game said that you know they hope that it's still coming out 2022. So we'll see, but I'm still on the side of doubt.
Yeah, I'm on the side of doubt too. The only game that I can think of that I'm kind of sort of looking forward to was Saints Row, and even still, like I'm kind of on the fence on that. I think that's coming out in 2022. Let me Google that.
Yeah, it's coming out in August.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. That game they announced during the State of the Play, which we'll talk a little bit more later too. That roller skating game, something Drome or whatever. That game looked pretty cool. It's coming out this summer, but like no crazy AAA releases. We gonna see. Leading conversations. Let's bring it back. Let's dial it back to what I was talking about in the intro about free games available on the Game Pass. Sniper Elite 5. It's kind of dry right now. Not a lot to talk about, but you know, we're trying to stay consistent with the podcast. So outside of the news, I always like to try to find games for us to talk about, be able to, you know, be tastemakers and lead the conversation. You know, I just gotta tug teeth from people to get them to play these games because they don't really play any. Sniper Elite 5 dropped since the last podcast. It's available on Game Pass. It's a new game. Well, that we got to shoot Nazis basically. You slow down time whenever you snipe. This one is different though because they're touting that it took them like 2 years to design all the maps alone. There's 10 levels in the single player, and each map is very big. I compare it almost to like Hitman, World War II Hitman. There's more verticality in it, as well as there's a multiplayer component to it with a bunch of different game modes and co-op. So how we feeling about Sniper Elite 5? Jay, I saw you streaming it the other day.
Yes. Before I get into what I think about the game, I just want to announce to everyone that I finally got Game Pass. just for this game. I don't know if the deal went away, but they went back to the dollar deal, so $1 for 3 months. So I was like, hey, why not? I'll just go ahead and get it. So I have a Game Pass now. I don't know if I'll be playing the other games unless like something pops up that TBH like wants to just to play. So we'll see. But anyways, to Sniper Elite 5. I don't care about the story at all. It's pretty
really
simple. No, do you care about it?
I was gonna say that was like the one redeeming factor. I guess like because I like cheesy stuff like that. Like just to like, how far in the game did you get?
I ended up getting to like, I would say like a third past the second level.
Okay, that's why. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Does it turn up?
Yeah, so when I first started playing it, I felt the same way that you did. I was just sneaking around and I like shooting people in the face. Like, just to give context, I actually I beat the game for everybody listening because I was in charge of reviewing it for G4. And yeah, it turns up like around like the Nazi castle level, which is like the third or fourth level. So like the story, without spoiling too much, is basically like it's the big hypothetical what if the Nazis are working on some top secret weapon and we got to figure out where they're manufacturing it and shut down their factories and take out the like it was just a kind of a big what if power fantasy that really leans into the we were back-to-back World War champions. But yeah, initially it does kind of start off kind of slow. It's just like, oh, we're gonna drop you off here. We need you to take out some officials that work that are part of the German army. But once you get into the whole conspiracy of the actual them developing a weapon of mass destruction, that's when it gets a little bit more interesting, and it's like this campy B movie. But go ahead, finish what you're saying.
Okay, so all right, I will reserve my judgment on the story till I continue playing a little bit further. But definitely the first level, I had little to no interest in it. Aesthetically, I think the game is cool. The first few times that it does the little slow mo when you snipe somebody, I think it's cool, but I think that gimmick quickly wears off, and by like the fifth or sixth time I did it, I was like, whatever, like I don't really care anymore. I do like the fact, because again, this is the very first Sniper Elite that I've ever played, so I didn't know that you had like other weapon that you could go in with, and you know I'm terrible at stealth, so as I was playing it, I definitely got caught quite a few times. But I love how you know can actually get different weapons other than a sniper, and you just not forced to snipe the entire time, so that was cool. Definitely ran into a good number of glitches early. So that was fun. So for them taking 2 years to work on this game, it was definitely a lot of bugs, but they were more fun bugs. They weren't game breaking bugs. So I'll give them that. I had a good laugh at some of the things that I did see. The AI is definitely like Ubisoft AI. And for anybody who's played the Ubisoft game, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, they can be either very smart or extremely dumb. I definitely had a good number of situations where I was hiding in the bush and literally nobody should know where I am, and AI literally just ran right over, like right to the bush. I'm like, how do you know that I'm right there? And then other times, like I'm literally like on the side of somebody and they just have no peripheral vision, and I just end up stabbing them. So you either get really good AI or really terrible AI. So it's kind of the same in this one. So like I said, I just had some good laughs playing that. So overall, it's all right though. Like it's not a bad game. And I had some fun playing through it for like the first couple levels. So I think that it's an okay play, especially for there being nothing out right now. So especially if you have Game Pass, I would say, and you have nothing else to try, I would say at least try it out. I definitely had a couple people in my chat that actually were Sniper Elite fans, and they said that the series was actually pretty good. So I will take their word for it with this one, and I think Sniper Elite 5 is a decent play.
I would actually disagree with you on the whole it gets old with the sniping part. That never got old to me, like cracking the skulls, especially when you were under like heavy attack and you needed to like hit your shots. Like sure, sometimes I skipped it, but I never got 100% like tired of it. So like I personally enjoyed that graphic aspect of it. Also, what's new in the game, since you haven't played the previous ones, it's not just like slowdowns on like the sniper shots, but there's slowdowns on the physicals as well as other attacks. So like if you stab somebody, sometimes you'll get special animations where the knife will go in and then you'll hit like the little brutality, sort of like Mortal Kombat. It'll give you like a special anime. So that's new. That and then one thing I will agree with you on though is the AI is it's terrible. Like I disagree with you on that, because you were like, oh, it's hit or miss. No, I'd actually argue it's worse than Ubisoft. It's terrible, and that was my main critique of the game. This is probably the first game I've ever played where somehow it's easy and it's hard at the same fucking time. It's hard to explain, other than the AI is just overly aggressive to the point where it's like, if they hear anything, if one person hears anything, next thing you know, and these maps are huge, by the way, each level will take you like 30 minutes plus, depending on if you run through the level, because like each map is really big and there's side objectives all throughout the map, and the game encourages you to play any type of way that you want, to the point where when you get to the end of each level, a chart pops up and it tells you, did you play assault or did you play stealthy, did you play a little bit in between? So it grades that. But like the AI is just so bad to the point where it ruins the immersion, because I was trying to play stealthy and like I'd fire like a silenced pistol and then one person would hear it who was close by. Cool, I should be able to take them out. And like I wouldn't even be mad if like I was in a church and then the whole church came after me, but I'm talking about like the whole map comes after you at once, and you become overpowered. And like to some degree I understand why they did that. It is like a stealth game, but then it's like OD. It's like there's no alarms going off. I took out the people who would do it's just too much. And it's like, how do they know exactly where you are, like what you said? But then on the flip side, it's also easy because you could take advantage of how overly aggressive they are, because there were plenty of times where it's like, all right, what I would try to do is I would try to play stealthy until I got caught. And the next thing you know, the whole map's after me. And because the whole map's after you, it makes it hard to kind of reset the AI to where you can get back to being stealthy. So what I would do is I would find a tight, like little corridor, and I would just funnel them. And they would all just run in one by one. Boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, the whole map is cleared out. I win. And like for me, like it ruins the immersion. There were a couple times where I was able to get through all the way stealthy, but it's like you make one mistake and I feel like you're penalized way too harshly. And just out of curiosity, when I was playing it, I was like, I want to see what's the difference. So like I started off on normal for like the first 3 levels, and then I put it on easy. And when I put it on easy, there's no difference between it's just the AI, bro. The only difference is you take less damage. So I was like, I might as well just play it on normal. Like there's no reason to put it on easy. There's no reason to put it on hard. The difference is just the damage you take. But the AI is just aggressive across the board, overly aggressive. And to some degree, I get it because that's what like Nazis are known for. It's just like it's stupid. It's so it ruined the game for me a little bit. But I still had fun for what it was. I agree with you. I enjoy the fact that you can use other weapons. For those unaware, you get a pistol, you get an SMG, you get 3 weapons. You get mines that you can plant on people to set as like booby traps, and you can funnel them in and like blow them up. And then there's like side missions all throughout each level that reward you with like new gear and experience and levels, like, and then more story lore as well. It's like I said, it's World War II Hitman basically. It's just not as polished. So the game is about, it's not that long. It's 10 levels long, and each level took me like 30 minutes to like an hour, depending on how much stealth I did. The game encourages you to basically find the best routes and the best way to play the game. So it's like Hitman in that sense, finding different ways to tackle the problems. I did run into like bugs and glitches too. A lot of T-pose type stuff. Nothing game breaking, but just like goofy shit, like you said. Some sound glitches, some clipping, some stuff like that, and just terrible AI. It's a B tier game. It's not the worst thing that I ever played. It sounds like I'm ragging on it because I actually did still have fun with it, but it's definitely I know on XP I gave it a 3 out of 5. Like if you could use like a 10 scale, it's like a 6. It's cool. If you got a Game Pass, I would say check it out. If you got the Game Pass, it's nothing that's gonna blow you away, but there's some fun to be had there, especially because it's co-op. I didn't get to play co-op because I had it early, and then the multiplayer, from my understanding, the multiplayer is fire according to Chaos, because if you like to troll, they do nothing but shit talk and drop lots of lots of OG Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 type vibes in the servers. I didn't get to play it because the servers weren't online when I had it early. Did you get to play Ethos?
Yep, I played it. I got to the War Machine level, the one where you got to break into the factory and with the Hydra weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So I got about halfway through the game. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. I was surprised by how much content was in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Sniper had that much content. It has like a Dark Souls invasion system, which I actually kept on, and that was pretty cool. Like that actual dynamic of just running through the mission, and then it's kind of like Deathloop, like an enemy sniper enters into the game randomly, and now you got to worry about this real player like trying to snipe you. So it's actually like, I actually enhanced the experience and made it where I had to be like really smart about how I snuck around the map, and like I did this cool thing where I knew this dude was hunting me, so I laid a trap on a dead body, and then I hid in a room, and then he tried to breach the room to kill me. And when he did that, the booby trap went off and killed him. So like that, I thought it was pretty cool. Multiplayer was a lot of fun. I was trying to stream it, but I was having some technical issues. But like for the most part, I thought the multiplayer was pretty cool. I didn't get a chance to play the horde mode thing, but I'm assuming that's probably pretty fun too. And the campaign, like you said, like I don't think the story is anything super deep, but you know, it gets the job. It's serviceable. It gets the job done. I do agree with JG. I think like the AI is probably the worst part of the game. It's very noticeable. It definitely has that Bethesda like charm to it, some of it, where it's kind of funny, but then there's definitely parts where it's just like nothing like broke the experience like from a I can't move forward, but it did like break my immersion a couple of times where like yeah, and on top of that, I agree with you too. Like they definitely have that classic pathfinding where it's like if you just hunker down in a location, you just call the alarm. Every single person in like almost the entire map will like run through the same door over and over again and not even like think twice, and you can just keep headshotting them over and over again. I like the gun selection stuff though. That was cool.
I think one thing that they don't advertise enough. I mean, I don't feel like they advertise the game enough. Period. Because like I like that you because I'd say I'm a fan. Like I enjoyed Sniper Elite 2 and 3. I played those ones, and like
yeah, I played those too.
It has like a niche audience, and like I feel like they don't do a good job of promoting the game. I think one of its biggest strengths is it's very charming. For like a game that's about shooting Nazis in the face, it's very charming. I think its strongest point is when you don't get caught and you actually are able to do a stealth playthrough. Just listening to all the German people like talk to each other and hearing their conversations, or like I remember there was one mission where you run into it, and it's a side mission. It's not part of the main thing, but you run into some Nazis in a castle who are running a spy ring. They're teaching up and coming spies. So then like,
are you talking about the simulation room?
Yeah, where he's like, let me hear your American accent, and he's like, I like a cheeseburger. Like there's some funny shit in the game. Like it's very charming, surprisingly.
It's pretty funny.
But you got to look for that content, and you have to take your time playing it. It can just be frustrating, and you can miss a lot of that stuff because the AI is so inconsistent.
There's a lot of small stuff that you can find too in the world. I was surprised by the level design. Level design is actually really good, and there's like a lot of really cool stuff. I feel like you can like a lot of replayability. You can play it a couple times and find some new stuff on the map.
Yeah,
It's just that big.
I believe them when they said they spent years on the maps because the maps are vast and there's so much to do. I think where I would disagree with you, Jay-Z, is like you could tell that's where they spent a lot of their time, and the game needed more polish. Yeah, it was the map design, but not the other stuff.
Okay, I mean that's fair. Yeah, if it was the maps, but not necessarily like the gameplay or the AI like that. Yeah, that's fine. But you know, you can't make a game that's perfect, so I understand.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, it's cool. Like, if you got Game Pass, it's definitely a game.
Definitely a fun game to play on Game Pass.
This is like the quintessential like Game Pass game. If you paying for it, like, bruh, it's like it's not quite AAA, but it's not the worst thing I've ever played. It's fun. I would say it's like a $20 to $30 game if you were to get it off Steam or something like that. Catch it on sale. There's fun to be had here, and if you like stealth games and you like shooting Nazis in the face, because who doesn't? I definitely think you should check out Sniper Elite 5. I'm curious to see what this studio does. Because like, how many goddamn World War II snipers? This is the 5th one. When y'all gonna make something else? That's what I'm trying to figure out. We gonna see. I know you two didn't play Diablo Immortals because you guys don't play games. That's the new dungeon crawler from Activision Blizzard, available on PC and mobile. They're really pushing the mobile thing. It actually got a lot of hate when they first announced it. I didn't understand it because I personally thought that it made complete sense. It's not a game that requires a ton of like responsive controls, and also for anybody who plays mobile games, you know there's a gazillion different Diablo knockoffs on iOS and Android. So from Activision Blizzard's standpoint, they were probably looking at it like, well, might as well put it on the platform, and so we can make some money off it. The same thing they did with Wild Rift. Like, it just, certain games work on phones. I literally just played it on stream, and it's good. I like it. It's a mobile version of Diablo. It's more fast paced. Like, I literally only played for an hour, and I managed to get to like level 16, I think. And I had even said, I said to the chat, I was like, yo, am I leveling up like really fast? And like, there's a lot of people who've been playing it. People have been fucking with it. And people were like, yeah, you do level up fast in the game. I was like, okay. So I was like, it encourages you to try different builds out. Mechanically, it feels really good. Just, it's been catching a lot of heat with like microtransactions and stuff like that. I didn't really get to dig too much into it because I only played an hour. I can just tell you I like what it was, and it was free to play, and it's got cross progression between PC and mobile. And there ain't nobody forcing you to buy microtransactions. So if you absolutely need something to play and you want a dungeon crawler, I would say check out Diablo Immortals. I'm not mad at it. I think it's good. And I played on PC. The PC client, it works good for the most part. It crashed on me one time when I first booted it up, but after that I didn't have any problems. And it runs smooth. It actually looks really good on PC too. So, you know, free to play content. Check it out. Diablo Immortals. Do either one of you are you any one of you interested in playing this game?
Nope.
I haven't played Diablo since Diablo 2, so like, I don't know. Like, I would probably get back into Diablo, but it wasn't on my radar.
Yeah, it has online too. Like, so like people are running all around. You can party up with people very easily. I've always been more of a Torchlight fan, man, but that last one, they dropped the ball on it. So I don't know. It's actually a really fun game to stream. It's really chill, kind of like turn your brain off and just kill shit and run co-op with some friends. I like it. I say check it out if you have the time, because it's free to play. What do you have to lose? Ain't nobody forcing you to buy anything. But yeah, let's get into this news. Let's talk about the big stories since the last podcast. So Sega, in collaboration with IGN, released 14 minutes of gameplay back-to-back 2 days in a row. The first day, they dropped 7 minutes of gameplay, just kind of exploring the world, traversing, showing the speed, or rather lack thereof, and some platforming. And then the second day, they dropped another 7-minute trailer, or not trailer, but gameplay demo, basically showcasing the combat in Sonic Frontiers. And boy, oh boy, the internet had backlash, man, to the point where Sonic Frontiers was actually trending on Twitter, and the reason being is because people feel like the game is unpolished, it's not ready. Hashtag delay Sonic Frontiers was trending on Twitter because people were not happy with what they saw. Currently, the trailer, it's getting a lot of hate in the comment section. How are we feeling about this, Ethos? Sonic Frontiers gameplay.
It looks like it's still in the oven. Doesn't look finished. There's a lot of very like wonky stuff in the game. So yeah, for me, I'm not. I don't think it's like terrible, like the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. But I get the complaints. A lot of it seems very valid. So,
what about you, Jay?
I'm like still surprised that people are like super diehard Sonic fans, but I guess after the first movie and the whole thing about Ugly Sonic, and everybody going in on that game so much that they ended up changing the design of Sonic. I guess I should have known that they would still be like this. Like, it's actually pretty ridiculous how many videos got made about it. I saw the first video that IGN posted, and I was like, okay, like, all right, it like Sonic is not going as fast, and I think one of the main complaints people had was just momentum. Like, people just want Sonic to just go fast, like literally just Sonic go fast and then nothing else. So people were just like nitpicking everything. Like, they were literally breaking down this trailer like so crazy. And I was just like, wow. I didn't really see anything. Yeah, you were one of, yeah. I didn't really see too much wrong with the first trailer when he was, when Sonic was just traversing. I'm like, okay, like it's definitely moments where they were going fast, but I guess just not fast enough. Like, people want Sonic to go fast and continue to go fast, and if there's any stoppage in the traversing, then it's not going to be a good game for them. So I think that was the main problem that people had with that. And then we got to the combat, and I will admit the combat part, I was just like, yeah, like, because I think definitely in the combat portions, there should be little to no slowdown. And I think like they were trying to make Sonic a little bit more technical when it came to the enemies that we saw there. So I can understand like why people were mad at that. And just overall, it just looked like what Ito said, like the game just isn't done. So I'm not going to, obviously have, put full judgment on what we saw, but I can understand why, the Sonic fans were upset, but it's just crazy, like, how mad they were. Like, I can understand to be mad, but they were super mad. Like, how you get mad to the point where, you're starting the campaign to delay the game. It's not even done. Yeah, you're saying delay it even further? That's crazy.
Well, we've always known Sonic fans are passionate. And looking at it from like a Sonic fan point, like a Sonic fan's point, the movie just came out. It did great. It feels like Sonic's really like in a good place. And then he had that surprise guest appearance in the Chippendale Rescue Rangers. People really loved that, even if it was like a comedic take on everything with the ugly Sonic. Like, Sonic is in a good place when it comes to public perception, because we all know he wasn't when he was doing that werehog shit and whatever, all the mother damn trash ass games that he came out. It was a dark age. Sonic Boom, that was a dark age. It was like a 5 back-to-back bad Sonic games. So it was like, I think Sonic fans are looking at it like his public image has been restored. He's the champion. And then they dropped this gameplay and it kind of messed the momentum up. And I actually, I disagree with you. Like, I completely understand. Not to the point where like I'm gonna write dissertations and shit like that and like threaten developers because all that shit is corny. But like, I understand why they're mad, because like I'm not the biggest Sonic fan. But from a mechanical standpoint, this game looks horrible right now. And here's why. So it's to the point where like people are like, yo, you should be a game developer. So the opening trailer, right? The game is called Sonic, and it's about running fast. In the opening trailer, they start with this nigga climbing like a jungle gym or something like that. It's not that it was just slow. It was the fact that they showed platforming. Like, is this a Mario game? Like, there's platforming in Sonic, but it's like, it's not to the level of like the precision with Mario. So like, they start off with him climbing some jungle gym, and then the platforming is slow, it's clunky, it's unresponsible. So that's strike number 1. They could have shown that, but like, why did you open up with that? Strike number 2, when he was exploring the world, it's the fact that it was empty too, right? And then you would think that this open world would make Sonic faster because he has nothing holding him back, but then it's empty. There's got to be like some NPCs that can give him missions or something like that. It needed to have something in the world for people to feel like it was alive. And then also the mission structure. What's the mission structure? This motherfucker's just grinding on whales and shit like that. I think would have been cool to show them, and I talked about it in my video, is it would have been cool to show them something like a mission where like he runs up to like, I don't know, Cream or one of the other characters from Sonic, and she needs a mission. She's like, oh no, my village is in trouble. The water pipe's busted, right? And be like, I need you to fix them, Sonic. So then you got to figure out how to fix the fucking water pipes, right? You could have this nigga, the same shit they showed where he was grinding on the rail in the open world. You could have had him run to the location and do some type of grinding puzzle where he knocks the pipes in place and it fixes the villagers. Like, if you want to do this open, you have to do things that complement his kit and make sense for an open world. They didn't show any of that in the gameplay. The combat looked boring as hell. Like, he was just like running in circles and then going, and I'm just like, some of the little punching moves looked cool, and like he was doing like the multi punches. I thought that looked kind of cool. But then also when they slowed him down, it didn't make sense. Like, they had this motherfucker doing puzzles and shit like that. I'm like, what the hell is this shit, bro? It would have made more sense if they put Tails in the game. They should have put Tails and Knuckles in the game. And the moments where there are puzzles, let Tails do them because he's the smart one of the bunch. It's kind of like Sonic, what's the Sonic Heroes? Yeah, and then have Knuckles do something for like his power or whatever. Just like, I think these trailers would have really benefited from having a game developer break down what was the design choice behind everything that they were doing, because what they were showing was very bleak and it didn't make sense in the context of Sonic's kit. And then on top of that, there were no NPCs. There were barely any enemies. The ones that they did showcase, they had very similar attack patterns. Just wait for him to stand up, then attack his legs. Like it looked like a tech demo that they had just started working on this year. And like, it looks like it needs a couple years in the oven. I wasn't impressed.
Are you sure that you're not an undercover Sonic fan? you definitely went deep into it. For me, I don't feel like.
Hey, but go back and think about what I said. Like, yeah, that kind of. And then on top of that, the shit just looks ashy. To be honest, like it's not very a vibrant open world. It's just like, why are we here? They could have briefly said. They didn't have to spoil anything. I think a game like this is the first open world Sonic game. I think it needed some context to why he was doing what he was doing. Why it looked like what they did is like, you guys remember those level designers like in Tony Hawk Pro Skater?
Yes,
that's what it looked like. It looked like they just took a bunch of assets and threw it on the screen and said, oh look, open world Sonic.
Well, yeah, I do agree with you on that portion. Maybe the way that they gave this exclusive to IGN and like just had them show like just 2 different videos on it with no developer commentary, no nothing, like just the game. I think that probably was not the best way to roll this out. And honestly, it just looks like a tech demo, and it clearly wasn't ready. Like, we know that this game is not ready, but we just don't know how far out that it's truly going to be. So maybe they do need to delay it, or like you said, like maybe just come back and explain what's going on. Why is Sonic here? What's going on? Why is this island or wherever the hell that he's at, like, why is it just so bleak with nobody there? Yeah, they just need a better time explaining it. And this is why a lot of games just end up like, if you're not truly ready to show it, and then you come out with something like this, it really just gives a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and they're already like not on board. And then if you end up showing something else, it's going to be extremely hard to get the people back on your side. Like, they're like, okay, like, all right, we hear you. Now we're going to come out with this and, this new trailer, like 6 months down the line or a year down the line, and actually explain what's going on. Like, the people already shitted on it. So like for the average person, like if they saw a video back then and they were like, oh man, this game is bad, then they're not going to even try to follow up and look at it. So I just hope that they can recover from this, because obviously I want a good Sonic Adventure-esque type game, and like you said, the previous like 5 Sonic games that came out were pretty bad. So we'll see what happens with this, but I hope that I hope that this isn't the end already for Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah, I seen the fan base were saying this looks like Sonic 06, and I'm like, that's not a good look, bro. You don't want your fans saying that, especially because they're coming off of that last Sonic game was bad too. What was the name of that? The one where you could customize your character, customize characters. I don't know this shit. It doesn't help that the Sonic Forces, that one wasn't good. I think the last Sonic game I really enjoyed was Sonic Generations. Did y'all play that one?
No. I think the last like the last Sonic Adventure type game I played was probably Sonic Adventure 2. I don't think I played any other Sonic game that was in the full 3D format after Sonic Adventure 2.
I think it's salvageable though. I think they should do exactly what they did with the Sonic movie. People forget, ugly Sonic. People complained. They disappeared for a year, and they came back, and it was like, all right, well, what do you guys think? And then everybody loved it. I think their best bet is they're gonna have to eat this L and just keep their head low and just revamp the game. Read the forums, read Twitter, look at the feedback people were providing, and make the proper adjustments, and then come back with something better. But like, the worst thing they can do right now is show more of what they just showed us. If they continue to do that, I think that the court of public opinion is going to destroy this game before it even comes out. And at this day and age, you got to come out correctly, because there's so much media to consume between games, TV, music, movies. Something new is coming out every day. So competition is stiff. I think they should just disappear and come back with a different trailer in like 6 months to a year. What y'all think?
I agree.
I appreciate it. We're going to have to get you to get some of that 35% in. Now, let's talk about the state of the play ethos.
I got nothing to say.
Oh, my fucking Lord.
I got nothing good to
at
say.
all.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
I wasn't saying it was bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Okay.
Me and Siggy had a whole conversation about this, arguing with
All right, we'll bring some of that conversation to the podcast. What did you and Siggy talk about?
Toxic. So the thing that me and Siggy were focused on, well, so me and Siggy had the same reaction. We were like, when it finished, we were like, wait, that's it? Like, not in a bad way, because it was good stuff they showed, but I don't know. We were expecting, I guess, and this was the main point me and Siggy were talking, was like, it's the state of play. So usually you expect like Sony stuff, right? Like Sony games. But the funny part was 95% of everything they showed was multi-plat. Like only 2 games off that entire show were actually like exclusive to the PlayStation 5. And the funny part was they even spent time saying another exclusive was going to PC. So yeah, I don't know, maybe that's a new thing, but that effectively, me and Siggy were talking about, that was effectively Sony saying they just don't have anything to show right now. They have no games, they have no nothing right now, like coming up very soon that they want to even showcase or even reveal to us yet. So
okay, yeah, I can understand that perspective. If you were just looking for, because I was gonna say I thought it was pretty decent. If you were just looking for mainly exclusives, then yeah, I can understand that perspective. God of War,
which I get. I totally understand how people were like, well, if you pay attention to the marketing, but there were totally people like myself and even Siggy who just like, look, I'm hardcore, but look, I'm busy. I ain't got time to be on Sony's Twitter being like, oh man, I better check the Twitter to figure out what Sony's gonna post. Like, I just like, they said, okay, state of play is coming up. And I guess if you look closer, they said in some points that it would just be third party stuff. But, you know, I wasn't expecting it was gonna be that like third party-ish, where it was just straight up like VR stuff, which was cool. I mean, you know, I'm not that crazy about VR, but I mean, it was cool looking stuff. But again, like I guess it's just very, not even just the premise, it's just the premise of them making this a third party thing in the middle of what's essentially E3 is kind of spooky too, and kind of what JG was saying earlier about like God of War is coming this fall. Like, this is like the hottest moment right now to be dropping. Allegedly, this is supposed to be the hottest moment that you should be dropping, you know, another trailer for God of War. Why Sony decided, no, we're not gonna show anything for God of War. It's like, what else in the year, what other time in the year is gonna be good to showcase more God of War and like to get the marketing out there even further to hype people up for this? And the only thing we could think of was Gamescom, and that's like technically that's like in August, September, so like you're like hitting right into like where the release window is gonna be. So I don't know, it's kind of weird. And me and Siggy were talking about how it kind of reminds us like kind of a little bit like where Starfield was at, where, you know, the only reason they wouldn't be doing this, showing a lot of footage of God of War right now, Ragnarok, is that not that it's going to be a bad game, it's probably going to be a terrific game, but simply they're probably unsure if it's going to launch this year, and they don't want to waste money in marketing, you know, on potentially something that they're going to have to like renege on or like change a bunch of marketing stuff around for. So,
or you just don't want to get people's hopes up. It's better to go quiet and then randomly announce a delay than constantly show your game and then delay it. That would piss people off.
And then people really get mad at you. So that's what me and Siggy were basically talking about in a nutshell.
True. What about you? Well, first of all, let me talk about it a little bit. So during the Sony State of the Play, it was like 30 minutes or something like that. They revealed Resident Evil 4 Remake. I feel like that was a no-brainer. We knew that was going to come at some point. A bunch of VR titles. The Walking Dead, Resident Evil 4 was one of them. Resident Evil Village, No Man's Sky. Then they showed a little bit of that Horizon VR game, which doesn't look bad. It's just, you know, I don't know if I want to get a VR headset for one game. And then they announced the Spider-Man remaster coming to PC. They showed gameplay of Stray. It's a game where you play as a cat. It's an adventure game. Callisto Protocol, which is the basically spiritual successor to Dead Space, is actually made by the man who made the original Dead Space. Roller Drome, which is a rollerblading game where you have guns and you have to kill people in style. You're like doing tricks and it has like a perfect dodge. It looks pretty cool. It's made by the same people who brought us Ollie Ollie. This is their next big game. Some random Eternal Nights, some anime game, I don't know. And then they showed Street Fighter 6, which had a hub world. So some gameplay, new outfits for characters or whatever, and Final Fantasy 16. But yeah, Jay, how are you feeling about the state of the play?
Yeah, so I pretty much felt the same way that Siggy felt, and me, Chaos, and Ace also broke this down. So check that out on the GI channel. There's a video about it. So yeah, I like once it ended, I was like, damn, that's it. Like I know that it was 30 minutes, but I was like, wow, that kind of went by like super freaking fast. The VR stuff I could care less about, but I understand they're trying to push the PSVR 2. I don't think they're going to be successful with it, but whatever. They have to show some new games. I wasn't expecting the Horizon stuff. The Horizon one looked okay, but again, I'm not getting the PSVR just to play that. I don't care about No Man's Sky. They keep trying to push these Walking Dead games. I don't know who's in charge of this, but they need to stop with that. Nobody's playing any of these Walking Dead games. Resident Evil Village coming to VR. I guess that's cool. Chaos wants the tall chick to step on him again, so that's fine. Resident Evil 4, we knew it was coming, but I'm still upset that Capcom keeps remaking or remastering these Resident Evil games. I still need for them to work on some other IPs that they have, mainly Onimusha. I want to keep pushing for that until I die. So that I was just like, whatever. Like the Resident Evil fans, they get their fix, but what about everybody else? They're just looking for stuff. Like Capcom needs to stop focusing on just a couple of titles and work on some other things. Spider-Man Remastered, that made me happy because the Sony fanboys get yet another game it took from them, so that's fun. So I'm all for all the first party or exclusives coming to the PC. So we got another one. Stray, whatever, got their freaking cat. We showed that again. Callisto Protocol, if you're into Dead Space, that's cool, but that game looks freaking ridiculous. I don't play them type of games. I don't like horror games, so it is what it is. Eternights, it's a freaking anime game mixed with a dating simulator. Like, I'm not playing that at all, so I wasn't excited about that at all. Street Fighter 6, new logo. It still don't look like a 6, and this hub world, it's weird. I don't know what to think about that. But I want to see what Street Fighter, like how the FGC is going to embrace that, because that's the most important thing for me. I just want to see what they're going to do with that. But the most exciting thing for me was definitely Final Fantasy. Like Final Fantasy 16 looks crazy. It's like the freaking the battle of the summons. Like they even have a summon that's just called Titan. So that shit looks lit. I'm most excited about that. But I think just overall, like I was like, wow, like 30 minutes. We didn't really see anything that's worthwhile. And me and Chaos currently have a bet going on because Chaos believes that Jeff Keighley is going to get something exclusive, AAA exclusive at Summer Game Fest. I told him I don't think that Sony's going to show anything else. It makes no sense for them to start out the gate before what was going to be E3 week. Have a head start on Microsoft and Nintendo and everybody else, and not show their banger AAA titles, which in this case would have been God of War, or some other news with God of War. I agree with what y'all are saying about it. Like if it's just not ready, like don't show anything instead of just show it and then constantly delay it. But this still was their time to show this or something else that we haven't seen before. So I don't think that Jeff Keighley is going to get an exclusive AAA title for Sony. I don't think that they would just wait on that and just give that to him for Summer Games Fest. That just doesn't seem feasible. So I think they're going to wait until Gamescom, which is in August, or Tokyo Game Show, which a lot of people forget about, which is in September. So they would do something on either of those conferences. I don't think they're going to do it next week. So I don't know what do you all think about that? Do you think that there's a possibility that Sony would show a AAA title that they didn't show with the State of Play next week or this week?
I don't think that would happen.
Yeah, me and Siggy had some people in the chat were trying to say there's a master plan Sony's doing. There's a plan. I'm like, no, I don't think Sony has anything for the rest of this year. I think they're out of they just don't have anything. It's just that simple. They just don't have any games right now to show right now. They'll have it in the future, but I don't think they have anything right now except for Ragnarok. That's the only thing they got left.
I'm seeing a reoccurring theme here, and it's starting to make more sense why both of you, as well as Siggy and Chaos, were disappointed in this state of the play. It sounds to me like you guys had expectations. So I didn't have any expectations. First of all, the state of the play has never been. Has there been one like amazing state of the play? Because I can't think of one.
When they showed Spider-Man, remember when Spider-Man, Wolverine, they showed all those at the same time?
Yeah, that was heat. That was a heat.
People lost their minds. Yeah, that was considered. I argue that was one of the best ones they've had in years.
I don't remember losing it because it was mostly just CG. It was cool they announced it, but like it wasn't nothing that like, blew my mind.
And there was some other stuff too. They showed Ragnarok too. That was when they showed Ragnarok.
That was all in one show?
Yeah, it was all in one show.
Man.
I don't remember, bro. COVID. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was last year. It was a banger.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, then I'll give you that one. I'll give you the benefit. That's one. That's still not a reason to have high expectations. I just didn't have expectations. As long as they showed me like one or two things I wanted to play, that's all I cared.
No, you come on, bro. We've done this for a long time. I don't have expectations for anything, bro.
Wow, what a great look on life.
No, I don't have expectations for anything, but I was still expecting at least one like banger AAA title, exclusive. Because what Ito said, no, now that I look at it, I'm like, wow, like they really didn't show anything, bro. These are all third-party titles, bro. This shit is crazy, dude. Like these are all multi-plats, so that's insane. Like when you really think about it. So yeah, I was expecting at least one exclusive AAA banger, and they didn't give us anything. And like I said, by the time they got done with Final Fantasy, which again I'm hype about, but once they got done with that, I was like, damn, like shit, the 30 minutes really went by already. So that's why I was more upset about. I thought they would at least had be like, okay, before we go, we have one more thing, and then showed us like some more footage of God of War. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, I was just looking for some cool games, and Callisto looked fucking fire. That shit is a day one cop to me.
And good luck, man. I ain't playing it, but it looked good. But it just
don't get me wrong. The one exclusive that the PS5 does have, which is Final Fantasy 16, is gas, because
that shit look gas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Roller Drome look gas to me.
Yeah.
That Horizon game, it looks cool, but like we still don't know the price point on the PSVR 2. And I'm not gonna buy a VR for one game. I don't even play the damn. I have 2 VR headsets. I don't play either one. And Resident Evil 4, the remake, like it's cool, but at the same time, like it is my favorite Resident Evil, but it is a remake, so it's like I kind of sort of know what I'm getting into. I liked what they showed. I didn't love it, but like I also didn't have expectations, so I was like, as long as they showed me something cool, that's all I care about. And I definitely want to play Callisto. And Street Fighter was cool too. I feel like we didn't talk about that a lot, although that's a multi-plat. I just hope that it has online. I hope that it has rollback netcode. Speaking of Street Fighter 6 a little bit, there was a leak for it where they showed the redesigns. This hasn't been confirmed, but there's an image going around showing the redesigns of all the characters. People think it's real because the Ryu one's correct, as well as the other ones they showed for Chun Li and shit. And then they showed 7 new characters. Is this doing anything for you, Jay?
Not really. Not for me personally. Like I'm just kind of out of fighting games, period. But like I said, I'm still into the FGC, so I want to see what they can do with this. But apparently, you noticed something about black women representation, huh?
Oh yeah, Kotaku put out an article. So one of the new characters is an American character. Her name is Kimberly, and then a Kotaku article they said Kimberly is the first playable black woman in the game. So the internet's like upset with Kotaku because they were like, "What about Alina?" And then what about Manat? They're both black. And like at first I was confused too. I'm like, "What the fuck is she talking about?" And then I understood. I think what they meant to say is like the first African American, like the first black American. Because like for those unaware, like there is a cultural difference. What's the name? Like Jamaicans consider themselves like Jamaicans, or people from Nigeria consider themselves Nigerians. Like they don't consider black American culture as like a different thing. So I think that's what they meant. They meant a black American, but they should have said that. But even still, I feel like that wasn't like article worthy. Like putting that in there could have just said it's just a new girl in the game. Like I don't know. So yeah, the internet was kind of upset with that. We'll see how they play. This game better have rollback netcode. I don't care what nobody says. It's World War Street Fighter 5 over here forever. I've always been a Street Fighter fan, and like I wanted to play that game more, but I'm never going to an FGC tournament. I will never compete in anything. I never will care that much. I just want to be the toughest guy at the barbecue. And in order for that to happen, I need the internet to work because we don't go over each other's houses anymore. I can't efficiently beat Nomad's ass with the game lagging all the goddamn time, or I can't just enjoy the game for what it is, hopping on, running a few matches without the game lagging all the goddamn time. And I don't know if this is true or not, but someone in my chat told me that apparently Street Fighter 5 did have rollback netcode. They just coded it all wrong, so it came out terribly. And I'm like, bruh, that shit that Guilty Gear Strive has, that's what I need Street Fighter 6 to have. That's one of the biggest proponents, I think, to help it grow outside of like the FGC and just like the more casual audience. And then I am curious to see what they do with this hub world. Is it something you can explore? Is there going to be like a little side mode where you can have like some Final Fight type shit where it's like a side scroller beat 'em up? If it's just running around like NBA, NBA is the city, NBA 2K is the city, that shit's whack. Keep it. I'd rather just have random matchmaking. Please do not make it like 2K City. There has to actually be a reason for the hub world, and I hope that there's a reason. I don't know. We'll see.
It don't look like it, but did you see Capcom actually release like a couple of threads talking about like some of the moves that they had And I don't know if you remember Street Fighter 4, but they had, the FADC, like you can cancel one attack and then go into another attack. It looks like they expanded that and gave you like at least 5 or 6 different options. Did you see that part?
Nah, I didn't see that.
Okay, cool. Well, that's important because a lot of people did love Street Fighter 4 a lot because of the FADC mechanic, but Street Fighter 5, turned it into V triggers. And a lot of people did not like that. They didn't like the crush counters that much.
Yeah, LTG, I hear him talk about it all the time. He hates the V trigger.
Exactly. But yeah, shout out to LTG. But so that's why a lot of people, like people who were super diehard Street Fighter fans, they stopped playing it. Like they stopped competing in Street Fighter 5 period because they just didn't like the way that it played. So it gives me hope that Street Fighter 6 will bring some of those people back or restore the feeling. But at the end of the day, like, you're correct, a lot of people just want, like, because especially with COVID, like, it's extremely hard to be able to travel to these tournaments or play people in person. So yeah, they need to get this rollback netcode right and not make it so damn laggy. And I hope they don't have the same situation like they did with Street Fighter 5 with these whole characters things and making everybody DLC. But it's Capcom. They're gonna milk the hell out of this, so I don't think that there's any hope. If this is like the initial roster, fine, but we already know some of the other characters that you're all looking for. They're gonna re-release them in DLC, so just don't be surprised.
I was somewhat impressed by the Street Fighter 6 trailer, because, like, if you count, there's 7 new characters in the game. And we also got to take into consideration all the classic characters that are coming back. Not only are they getting redesigns from an aesthetic standpoint, but there's going to be redesigns in their kit, because I mean, it's a new game. That's usually how it goes. So there's and then they have like the hub world or whatever, and then we don't know what other game modes are here. But based off that trailer we saw from the State of Play, I think from a packaging standpoint, there's enough new content to be like, all right, this is definitely Street Fighter 6. The main thing is that online, and I think they really had to nail this online for the simple fact that, like, we don't know when this COVID stuff is going to end, man. People like to act like a pandemic doesn't exist, but I mean, you saw that the dude who was RIP to dude, but the dude who ran the COVID mass security at PAX, he passed away because apparently like half the people that got it that went to PAX got COVID. There's other shit going on like DreamHack, looking TwitchCon coming on. People just walking around. I've seen some people I follow on IG just walking around Disney. No mask, like nothing's going on. People are still getting sick. I know people that have been confirmed recently. It ain't going nowhere. So I think online tournaments will become more prominent, and in order for that to happen, you got to have a strong net code. So I really hope that they get it together with that, because I do want to, it's not like I hate Street Fighter. It's one of my favorite fighting games. Like, I want to see it do well. But you want to hear something funny though, Jay? So I was looking at the comment section on my Street Fighter 6 video that I uploaded, where I was breaking down the trailer from the State of the Play, and one of the top comments was, man, I wish that somebody in GI was more in tune with the FGC so they could better break down what they're talking about with these Street Fighter 6 trailers, because he's like, I feel like there's a lot of content here they're not breaking down, kind of like the smaller details of things. And I was like, that's funny, because I was like, isn't that what I be telling Nomad to do? I was like, that's crazy. I'm like, we do have somebody. I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Especially now, man. All you got to do is stream and talk about the trailer, man. That's easy content.
I wasn't even mad at it.
Night and just tell Chaos about it, bro.
I wasn't even mad at it. I completely agreed with the statement. Like, I can visually see things from a casual standpoint, but like the minute details, yeah, you need somebody who's a little bit more experienced. I was like, I don't know. So
yeah, that's true. Like I said, I'm halfway in. Like, and the only reason why I know about a lot of stuff is just because I watch a lot of FGC tournaments, but I don't play it, so I don't know about frame data. I don't know about footsies. Like, I can't properly break that stuff down. But
all I know is I better not see nobody wake up with a DP. That's what I'm saying, whatever that means. Anyways, that's a
dragon point. Wake up dragon point, the DP.
I love it. That's one of my favorite montages ever. I'm hoping you can carry this next conversation here. Jay, you're the foosball guy here. So Madden recently announced that Madden will now be returning to the cover of Madden, because recently Madden passed away. RIP to Madden. So he's going to be on the cover. You sound like you getting Madden and shit. But anyways, So yeah, Madden's back on the cover. Apparently hasn't been on the cover in a while because they be putting athletes on there. I don't know if that's gonna make the game better. Doubt it. And then they recently just announced a new gameplay trailer for the new Madden where they're adding a new feature called Field Sense. Now, I watched the trailer about 5 times, and I'm not trying to be funny. I don't understand what's the significance of Field Sense. It's confusing because he was like, I guess certain players catch the ball better, or certain, I don't know. You the football dude. You telling me what the fuck is this shit?
All right, so again, I don't play Madden, so so I can't probably break it down, in an intricate standpoint. But what I can tell you is, well, first of all, shout out RP Madden. He's one of the greatest, and he hasn't been on the cover since 2000. So this definitely is a big deal. They actually should have put him on the cover, a lot more times. But I get it, I understand. But now that he passed away, so now they got to do a tribute to him. So it is what it is there. Field Sense, I can't tell you exactly what the previous version was called, but EA is notorious for calling a feature something else. And it was something that was in the previous generation.
Okay, so
a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago.
I used to play Madden like crazy, and I seen some people in the comment section say it. They were saying it sounds like QB Vision from Madden 05, and I fucking hated that game. I really hope that's not what it is.
You know what? you might be mad. I mean, you don't play like
because Brett Favre and Brady were the only viable quarterbacks in 05 because of that QV vision, and like that was the vibe I was getting from the trailer. But I don't know enough about football. I was like, I don't know. I don't understand these little intricate words. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I was seeing things like again, like you were mentioning, like controlling like how you catch the ball or where you want the ball to go. So again, that sounds more like the QB vision stuff. So we'll see. Like I said, they're super notorious for repackaging old features and calling it something else. So do not get hyped with the buzzword field sense. If you play Madden and you still play Madden, then you already know the deal. You already know the jig. You're just waiting on somebody else to make a freaking football game at this point. But this is unfortunately the only thing that you're going to get. So you just kind of got to deal with it.
Yeah, you know the rules. I only play this game if I get it for free. And I hope there's a story mode in it so I can stream it and troll the Madden community. You a Madden fan, Ethos?
What do you think?
Yeah, I think I heard you crying about the Detroit quarterback one time. I don't know his name.
Nope.
Shout out to Super Bowl winning Matthew Stafford, baby.
That's who it was. Yeah.
That's the only one I know. Is a little bit about Lions, Megatron, Stanford, Barry, that was about it. I don't know anything else besides that stuff.
Can't wait till the summer. It'd be my favorite time of the year.
I'm happy for I'm happy for JG's team, bro. We gave him a dub.
Wow. Sony announces Horizon series for Netflix, as well as a God of War series is coming to Amazon, and a Gran Turismo show. Lots of new gaming television. Horizon, God of War, Gran Turismo. Is any of that speaking to you?
Gran Turismo? Hello? Is this going to be like? Are they going to make it like Fast and Furious? Like, what is this?
You know, it's funny. You're laughing at the shit, but like, jokes aside, I feel like of these 3 shows, because it's coming to television and we know what type of budgets they be working with, Gran Turismo probably has the best chance to be a decent show. It could be some drag racing or some show about some up and coming driver or something like that with a decent storyline. You take the Gran Turismo shit, like people might watch that. But like there is a lot of potential to fuck up God of War and Horizon. I know Amazon got money, Netflix got money, not like Amazon money. The key though is, are they going to put it into it? Because I feel like those 2 deserve a movie. That's a movie type budget.
I mean, yeah, I can agree with that. That theory there, and God of War would be the biggest one that they could fuck up. Amazon got some money though, so I think that they have the biggest potential to make it good. out of everybody else besides maybe Disney, but Disney can't get this up. So we'll see about that one. I would be impressed though to see like with Horizon who they're going to get to play Aloy, because one of the biggest things that people have been saying about Aloy is like she's just way too like passive, like doesn't care about anything, or at least in the first game. In this one, in the second one, she was a little bit more aggressive and assertive with the way that she talked to try to give orders, but in the first one she was super freaking monotone and robotic. So I would love to see who's going to get cast as her, and are they going to start from the beginning with this Horizon show? Because I would love to see someone try to like recreate like how Aloy was in the first one. So
no, she's when I think about it, no, she's a pretty bland character. She's still like that in the sequel. I think the biggest problem is she has no character development. Even though she's aggressive, she doesn't develop as a person. When I think about it, she was very just like, we got to go do the mission. Like there was nothing else to her when I think about it.
Yeah, and then, like I said, I use that lightly. Like she was a little bit more assertive in the second one, but in the first one, absolutely not. So, like I said, if they start with that one, like I would love to see like how they're going to portray Aloy in the actual series. But like I said, I can't really shit on like video games turning into a series versus a movie now, just because like the budgets are so big now. So like I said, there's always the potential to mess these things up, but I think that it's been a very slow grind, but a lot of these video game shows and or movies have been getting better. So we shall say. I'm going to keep an open mind, but I wasn't looking for any of these, but obviously like with God of War, I think God of War would be the most exciting for me to see like what they're going to do with that.
My gut just tells me for some reason this Gran Turismo show is going to be the best of the three because nobody's expecting it. It's going to be some shit starring some Giga Chad, which, by the way, I forgot to put that in the notes. That's crazy. Y'all saw the new Pokemon trailer, right?
Yes.
Did you see it, Jay?
No.
Pull it up. They showcase the new professors, and like the professors is mad sexy. So, Professor Batty and Professor Giga Chad. So like that shit was trending. That shit was funny. I'm gonna ask y'all, how y'all feel about that Pokemon? You'll be Professor Giga
Chad. Go ahead, you all talk about it while I'm watching.
But yeah, I feel like that Gran Turismo show has the best chance to succeed. God of War, I feel like if they're gonna do a show on it on Amazon, I feel like it's got to be based off of the new God of War. I don't know if there's enough there in the old ones for it, because like in the old ones it was like he was just kind of angry, he was mad at the gods, and he just kind of went crazy and went on a ramp. I mean, there's more there, but like that's the gist of it, to be honest. And the new one, at least he has a relationship with his son, and he thinks about things he did in his past. Like there's more there to grasp on as a character. So like I think that would be better. It would also prop up the new game, and kind of they could coincide and promote one another. I don't know. What you think, Ethos?
Yeah, I think it's cool. It looks cool. I know a lot of people are disappointed with Sword and Shield, so I'm kind of like, it's just gonna be that. But seems like some Arceus mechanics have transferred over to this new one. But
are you playing Star Wars?
No.
I was talking about fucking God of War, and then you just started talking about Pokemon.
I thought you were still talking about the Pokemon with the Giga Chad.
Nah, I was talking about God of War, but we can talk about Pokemon. It's okay.
No, it's okay. No, we can talk about God of War. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I thought it had the best chance. I'm not the best chance, but I was saying I thought
the TV show, right?
Yeah. I said I thought
I don't know. I got confused because you went to Pokemon, and then I was confused.
Yeah, because like I said Giga Chad, and it made me think of like the handsome ass professor they had.
You deviate. Okay, I was confused. I was like, I thought we were talking about Pokemon.
You don't get out that fucking game.
No, you deviated from the dang matter.
Whatever, Star Wars mods. But God of War, I was saying about God of War, I think it'd be better for them to do something with the 2018 story, because I think there's more meat on the bone to create a TV show around it, because he had more character development versus the original games, because he was just kind of an angry dude. There was more there with like his wife and stuff, but he's still just kind of like an angry dude, fucking bitches and killing gods. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say do the 2018, because if they tried to do a whole, this is unique to the show and it's not canon, they'll probably make a mistake and do another Halo. So yeah, probably best if they just copy 2018 formula, since it's a really well written video game.
Now back to the Pokemon.
Yeah,
what were you saying, Ethos?
I was saying that it looks pretty good, but I know a lot of people are very on the fence already off the bat just because of how Sword and Shield ended up being for a lot of people. They just didn't like it. But Arceus was really good to a lot of people. So now it's kind of this, a lot of people are split because now they're like, oh, but it's Arceus was good, but Sword and Shield wasn't that good to us. So I don't know. Pokemon fans are kind of, stuck in the middle trying to figure out if they're going to like this game or not. Some Arceus mechanics have moved over, but still has some sort of Shield mechanics as well. But the thing that I think a lot of people are disappointed about is they thought the battle system, they'd just copy Arceus's over, but it really looks like the only thing they've copied over is really like the how the way you capture the Pokemon. But like it seems like the battle system has you don't control the Pokemon anymore like Arceus lets you. So some people are I've noticed some people are disappointed by that. So yeah, we'll see though.
I think I've reached a point in my life where I've fallen out of love with Pokemon. Like I'm just like,
I don't blame you.
Like I don't hate it, but like I see the trailers, I'm just like, like it just
whatever.
The same shit to me.
It took you this long because I've been fell out of love with it since like Ruby and Sapphire. Like that was the last like two that I was just like, all right. Like after this, I was just done. It just kind of left me.
Still love the world, still love the characters. I just feel like they could do so much more with it, and they just keep doing the same thing. Kind of like, I mean, I like the Star Wars, everything that has nothing to do with the damn movies. I like the shows, the games, but like the recent trilogy, the prequels weren't that great outside of the third one. Like it seems like the outside media. I wish Pokemon would do something like that, where like just find a different way to tell the story of Pokemon if you're going to continue to do it. But what were you about to say after watching the trailer, Jay?
Oh, why they gave my man this mean like beard, bro? He look like he an underwear model on IG or something.
Handsome Squidward has.
But nah, yeah, that was it. I don't know whose idea was it to give him this. He got the he got the side fade. He got the tip fade connected to the beard. Like my man got the razor. It's funny, bro.
I see some tweet from some, the angry woke mob on fucking Twitter talking about with these new professors, they're trying to like turn kids and like turn them on or some shit like that. I'm like, all right, bro. Like it's funny, but it's not that deep. Like what the fuck are you talking about?
If you find yourself getting turned on by Pokemon professors, then you got some other issues you need to take care of yourself.
They had a whole theory. They were trying to turn out children. I'm like, let me go ahead and mute your account. Like, bro, it's not that damn deep. Like, come on now.
Nintendo, come on now. It's Nintendo and it's Pokemon. I highly doubt that they will be intentionally trying to turn your kids on. Like,
we're in a day and age where you can't even just be attractive. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, for real. That's ridiculous. But yeah, I don't care about Pokemon outside of that. I just love seeing Pokemon fans just cry because it's always something that they're going to find wrong with every single Pokemon title that's coming out in the mainland Pokemon. But like I said, at least they're trying because, Ethos' great idea that he said years ago finally happened. So with the MOBA, yeah, Pokemon Unite, and we're still waiting on the full-on RPG. Like they're dipping their toes into it, but it's not a full Pokemon RPG yet. So I feel like they just need to just keep expanding on the full Pokemon RPG aspect.
Next
and just
Pokemon.
Just make an MMO. Just make an MMO.
I want a From Software Pokemon game.
How does that gonna work?
Oh, this guy. Yeah,
I want a From Software Pokemon game. That is the next one I want.
How's that gonna work? Explain it.
Big actually have the Pokemon scale the size of how they actually are, like in a 3D like world environment, and you're walking around, and kind of like Arceus is kind of like you have to survive, like Pokemon will attack you and stuff like that, but you also get your own Pokemon that'll help you. There's like an image, I forgot what it was, Dan tweeted it to me. There's like a concept artist who did like a concept of that idea, and it was actually really sick. Like this dude was like in a skyscraper like city ruin, and he was like running across the water, whatever it is. Like this is what the concept shows, but there's like a Kyogre just like flying over this whole thing, and it was like really scary. Like it was massive. And there's like some others that I've seen, like people like going into a cave, and then there's this big Onyx that like scares the crap out of you. Like there's actually some really surprisingly good horror aspects in Pokemon that you could exploit.
Putting in the work.
That's the next thing I want.
I think the best looking Pokemon game coming out is called Power World, the one with the guns.
Oh my lord.
That's the best looking Pokemon game to me.
That's crazy. It's still going. That's crazy.
Hey, you could add it to your wish list on Steam. 2022 release date. I'm streaming it.
I did.
That shit look like it's gonna be at least a meme for a week. If it is good, that's even better. What is good?
Watch it actually be good.
Yeah, I feel like it might actually low-key be good. What is good is there's a chance. Well, Deus Ex is coming back. You want to talk about this one? What's got you so excited here, Ethos?
Oh man, I just saw this article that stated that the Embracer Group, which is the group that bought off the Western studios that Square used to own, that's like Crystal Dynamics and what's the other one? Eidos Montreal. Basically, they bought them out from Square, and now we got an update that that the Deus Ex IP might be coming back, but some people are saying it's out of context and that it's not going to, but I think it is. My feeling is I feel like Deus Ex is going to come back. So it's not confirmation that we know for a fact like the Deus Ex game is the next game that Eidos is working on, but it seems like what's insinuated is that like the new owners of the studios want to like tap into that IP library that they just obtained, and it seems like that seems to run in line because now they have Crystal Dynamics working on another Tomb Raider game, and it could be that they're gonna have Eidos maybe work on another Deus Ex game, like go back to the roots of like the stuff that people really love them for, the franchise they really love them for, and instead of what Square made them do, which is run off and do Marvel games and all that stuff. Even though Guardians was really good because Eidos was in their bag, but at least Crystal Dynamics doesn't have to hopefully ever touch Avengers again.
If this investor group does bring back Deus Ex, which I love Mankind Divided, by the way, but if they do bring it back, I think they need to dial back the expectations, because and I could be wrong, but I have a hard time believing that Deus Ex will ever just truly be like a mainstream game. It's always kind of like it's like a niche hardcore kind of game, unless they do some, I don't know what they could do, but like I think if they dial back the expectations, that would be better, and be prepared to potentially take a hit, because what else can they do to appeal to the mainstream?
I don't think it needs to appeal to the mainstream. I say appeal to your hardcore fan base, and then people will love it.
True, they're gonna have to do advertising to get that then.
Yeah, or just make a really damn good game. I mean, like Elden Ring wasn't. Elden Ring was not meant for a casualized mainstream audience, and look what happened. It worked. So who knows?
True.
Do the same thing.
Any affinity towards the series, JD?
I think that this potential rumor could be true. I mean, what would be the point of acquiring them and you don't work on Deus Ex? Like, I a lot of times associate like Eidos with Deus Ex. Like when you mention it, like that's the first franchise that comes to mind. I'm not the big Deus Ex, not the biggest Deus Ex fan, but I think that like this should be a no-brainer. Like like they should start, get Eidos to continue working on it and start to come out with another one. Like a lot of times I used to associate Deus Ex with Mass Effect. Obviously like Mass Effect is like way bigger in terms of like the hardcore audience, but it's still like in that kind of like either you really love Mass Effect or you're just kind of on the outside looking in. Like, why do people love this franchise so much? And I feel like that's what Deus Ex is. So I tend to agree with Ethos. Like, if they're gonna make another one, like they don't need to appeal to the mainstream. Like, just keep making the same type of game that got your hardcore audience in the first place.
I think Deus Ex would actually work better as a movie. As much as I love the games, like I could see this appealing to the whole Matrix crowd or whatever. And just kind of the storyline and the characters. Like I think there's enough meat on the bone for it to be a movie. But
it could work as a Netflix series.
Yeah, or a Netflix series.
Altered Carbon.
Yeah, Altered Carbon was good. I really liked it actually. Yeah,
same idea.
Yeah, so it's like if they don't, you never know. Like they have the IP, they could do anything with it. So
yeah, true.
Who knows? We'll see. As far as potential another Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider like franchise, it's good, but it's Tomb Raider. I don't think I feel like it. As older gamers we like it, but like the younger gamers, they didn't really grow up with Lara Croft, so like it might not appeal to them the same, and maybe that's why they've been struggling, because it's almost like a new character to the newer generation. I don't know. But I'll play it if a new one comes out. Does it get me super excited? Not really. And the last story we got on the show notes is a former Xbox executive. What was his name? Something Fries. We're just gonna call him Fries, but he was a former Xbox executive. He recently did a interview with the Xbox about the Xbox expansion pass. He was talking about Game Pass. Oh my God, I'm tired. I cannot talk today. Everybody hit the like button and rate the show 5 stars. But former Xbox executive Fries, he was asked about the future of Microsoft and like Game Pass and all that stuff, and he didn't talk really too much about the future of Xbox, but he was saying that he's scared about the impact that the Game Pass could have should it become, you know, a business model that everybody uses, everybody adopts. You see Sony trying to do something similar. He also made broad claims about well, Spotify doesn't matter. What do you think that he made? Because they didn't really go into detail in this argument. What do you think he meant by like he's worried about the impact that it would have on the industry if the Game Pass became the norm?
So I read this entire article. I think what he is really talking about is when he compared it to the music industry and like Spotify, when Spotify or streaming services, period, because I don't want to just harp on Spotify, but you know, they're the biggest player when it comes to music streaming at this point in time. But with music streaming services, he was mainly saying like when streaming became a thing, a lot of artists' revenue ended up declining because, you know, the whole thing about like what does a stream cost versus buying an entire album, like it's totally different. So you literally get pennies to the dollar for every time that someone streams a song versus if someone is paying $10.99 to buy an entire album or $1.99 to buy a singular song. So I think he's really worried about like from a revenue standpoint, what will this turn into if you look 5-10 years down the line and everybody's putting their games on the subscription service and nobody's buying a singular video game for $60, $70, even $80. So that was really the main point that he was trying to get to. And I can kind of see where he's going, but at the same time, this is a different type of thing because again, you're comparing someone who listens to an album maybe once and then throws it away versus someone who buys a $60 or $70 game and it has DLC, it has a lot of replayability. This is a different ballpark that we're talking about. So I think that people still will pay $60-$70, especially the people who like love physical copies and they want to, you know, quote unquote own their video game and they're going to play it for a very long time. I think the Game Pass just enhances at this point in other services like it just enhances the availability of games that someone wouldn't normally even be looking at to play. Like if there's a slow time like in the summer for video games when there's just nothing coming out and you just see this game on Game Pass, you're like like all right, like I wasn't thinking about playing that, but let me just try it out. And then maybe it's so good that they're like, hey, like I want to play some other, you know, previous game title that isn't on Game Pass. Like they will go and buy it. I think that's really the effect that Game Pass other services like that have. And I think it's a different argument when you're trying to compare the video game subscription services to music. But I do understand like his point. He doesn't want people to just totally abandon people paying $60 or $70 for a video game versus just paying, you know, however much a month and just playing all the games on Game Pass and essentially, I guess, diluting the total value of a video game when it comes out.
Yeah, I get what that standpoint. But I think for like hardcore gamers, like, yeah, sure, Starfield is gonna be on Game Pass day one, but like because like just the gamer in me, I'm gonna buy a copy of it. I don't care it's on Game Pass. I mean, I care to some degree, but not. There's gonna be overlap where like some people are gonna take advantage of that, where they're gonna only try to get as many AAAs from the Game Pass as possible. But I think most people will, if they really like fuck with the culture like that, they're gonna usually buy a copy. The Game Pass to me is just for games like Sniper Elite, be able to try stuff that I wouldn't, that like I'm kind of interested in, but I didn't want to pay $60 for. That's what I would go to, and I would argue the Game Pass helps more those games more than it hurts. So like I wouldn't be too worried about that. And then also on the flip side of things, regardless, statistically speaking, most games are going to fail regardless. Games are becoming more expensive to make. There's more media to consume than ever. And there's only so much time people can give to something in a day. So from a number standpoint, most things are going to fail regardless. And that has nothing to do with the Game Pass. I'd actually argue that it's doing more good than bad because it's giving, like, let's say like a game like Sniper. I don't know how the Game Pass works, but I would imagine that like that Microsoft is paying a fee to license it onto the Game Pass for like a certain amount of time. I would argue that lump sum of money that studio is getting is more beneficial than trying to just rely on sales, because a game like, in my opinion, a game like Sniper Elite 5 is probably dead in the water without Game Pass. A game like what's that shit called that recently came out, that bootleg ass Rainbow Six Extraction, that shit was dead in the water without Game Pass. But like I would argue it helps certain games more if the studio can, and I don't know, I'm just assuming that's the business model, if Microsoft is paying a lump sum to license the game on their Game Pass, because they already knew that they weren't going to get the sales like that. It allows studios to dabble a little bit more and get a little bit more creative and try things out. But like for certain games like a Starfield or like a God of War or something like that, them motherfuckers are going to sell regardless, because hardcore gamers are going to go get them. So I think the Game Pass is more good than bad. What about you, Ethos? Yeah, I feel that. That's real talk.
Yeah, I agree. I think I get what he's trying to say, but I think the comparison's kind of bad, because on top of that, the barrier of entry into the music side of stuff is relatively empty, right? Like that's the whole idea, the whole SoundCloud rapping era, right? It was just like a bunch of people who just have a microphone that they could just buy. You know,
the quality's different, yeah.
Yeah, the quality is different, but you don't get that with gaming. Like you do get a small sector of like, let's say like there's a bunch of, let's say like shovelware, people just
Focus Home Interactive.
Right. Well, worse than that, but like that but it's still like you still have to have a technical knowledge to do that. And music, as we clearly know, you do not need such a technical background in order for you to pull off, you know, being able to put something online. For the most part, it's relatively been eased. The barrier of entry is way thinner than to get into like the music side than it is to get into like game development, because there's a lot of technical things you have to
also gamers aren't as fickle, I think, as like music listeners, especially with this microwave music era that we live in. Like an example is like literally like 3-4 months ago in my chat, you listen to Yeet, bro, you listen to Yeet. I was like, who the fuck is Yeet, bro? This is how I know I'm getting old. So then I remember I was working out. I pulled it up. I'm like, yo, this nigga's just babbling and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit, bro? I was like, I'm not listening to that. The beats are cool.
Provocative.
But here's the funny part though, right? Literally just the other day, I got recommended a video on YouTube from a prominent like music what's the word? I'm like personality on YouTube. He has a bunch of followers and shit, and he was just talking about how Yeet is falling off. And his numbers are starting to go down like on Spotify. And it's like, because that audience is so fickle. Like, yeah, y'all like that shit now, but next year you're not gonna like it.
You'll be on to the
it's not the same thing with gamers. Like hardcore gamers, when they love something, they're gonna fuck with it, bro. They're dedicated.
Yep. Yeah, so I don't think the Game Pass is a bad sign. I think it's good because it makes a barrier of entry for people who can't afford $60 games every single, like 3 $60 games that come out all in 1 month, which happens every single year. There's usually a month where it's just overkill of the amount of games that drop that are $60. I think the Game Pass like makes that barrier of entry way easier, and it allows people who can't afford that to still like play all these like the latest and greatest games that come out and not have to wait 6 months later in order to get the game on sale. Like that whole what used to be like, remember reviews, right? Reviews used to be so important because you'd have to rely on the reviewer to decide if I was going to spend 60 or if he recommended, hey, just wait for a sale. That used to be what it used to be about reviewing, right? Wait for a sale. But now it's really become like, hey, if this is on the Game Pass, then like, that shifts, a lot of people's opinion, where it's like, all right, well, this game, obviously is like, it's not reviewing wise, it doesn't seem like it's going to be the greatest game they've ever played, or not amazing. Doesn't seem like it's a bad game, but I still want to try it out, because the Game Pass, like Sniper Elite's a good example of that, right? Like I'm still just going to give it a shot because I have the capabilities of doing it, so without really hurting my pocket.
Also, we don't have any data on the numbers, because who's to say that Game Pass isn't increasing the sales of like certain games, right? Because like I said, going back to how hardcore and dedicated gamers are, I know one issue that's big in gaming is gaming preservation. Like an example is like we did a video on G4 about the Obi-Wan game, because like the show is coming out. There was an exclusive on Xbox where you got to play as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like unless you have that copy of Xbox, you can't play it unless you know how to download emulators or something like that, because it's not available like digitally, I don't think, like on the Xbox store or whatever. So who's to say that like the Game Pass, let's say somebody downloads Sniper Elite 5 and they just fucking love that game way more than we did, who's to say that he doesn't go buy a hard copy just so that one day if he ever wants to play it again, he can have it like in his collection? Like we don't have data on that stuff. And like I said, comparing the music audience to the gaming audience it's completely different. Also, we know that gaming has surpassed music and movies as the most viable form of media in terms of like people spending. So gamers are more inclined to spend money. Like, we don't have enough data, I don't think, to really, I don't know if this is like the best comparison, but I get where he's going. I understand what Jay was saying too. I get where he's going.
No,
there's an option for it.
Yeah, and like y'all, both of you touched on it already, but like it's way harder to basically bootleg a video game compared to music. Like music was just so easy to just rip and leave. You got to go through some hoops. Like if you're trying to bootleg these games and play them on stuff. So especially
Let's
like
consider playthroughs stealing, I guess.
Yeah, I remember
A.K.I made that argument a long time ago about it would kill their sales because people would just watch the videos of the playthrough and not play it themselves.
I remember when I was playing PlanetSide 2 heavy when I first got into PC gaming. It was free to play, and I looked up and I had like 50 hours on the game, and I legitimately just felt bad. I was like, man, these motherfuckers got like families to feed and shit. I was like, you know what, let me buy the battle pass or whatever. Yeah, let me throw some money.
Yeah.
Who's to say people aren't doing the same with like these Game Pass games where like, you know what, god damn, I beat this game like 3 times. Maybe I should just buy a hard copy to like support the developers. Who's to say they're not doing that? Also, keep in mind, games get cycled on the Game Pass. They're not there forever. So let's say Sniper Elite 5 is here this year. Next year, it might not be on the Game Pass. And if somebody really likes the game, who's to say they're not going to go out and buy it? But we don't have the data to suggest whether or not they're doing that. So it's kind of hard. I think the next 10 years we'll have more data to figure out whether or not if Microsoft ever released that type of stuff. But I think that's an interesting conversation.
That narrative also, the narrative that I think that this type of article, people who don't read it, I think a lot of them try to run with it who are like against the Game Pass and try to say, I know a lot of Sony people try to make this argument and say it devalues the games and we on PlayStation love to pay our $70 to buy these games. These guys are really good games. And I totally get that. But I think the thing that a lot of things, like, it's been proven, there's been like some outside examples, like for example, Outriders. I just made a joke. Outriders is like an outlier where it's like because the game hasn't been profitable. Like they said they still haven't gotten like barely any royalties from Square, presumably because it was on Game Pass. So a majority of people who played it on Game Pass didn't really jive with it. So they were like, I'm not going to pay for this game. So, they played on Game Pass like, as a trial and they did it. But I think the main thing that a lot of people are trying to avoid talking about or pointing out is that like Phil Spencer says, and there's been a bunch of developers who've backed this up and said that like the Game Pass was such an amazing deal for not only big like AAA, but specifically smaller ones like the AA space and indies too, because they said Microsoft a lot of times would offer to just pay up front their development costs for the game. So even if they put it on Game Pass and people don't buy the game, they knew at least they were breaking even, like a guarantee. And that's what you were talking about, TBH, which is so important, is that the gaming industry is such a kill industry where it's like you get one shot, and when this thing comes out, if your thing flops, like, and you don't make money off of it, it could dead your whole studio. Like look at Lawbreakers, like it could dead your whole studio. But if you, and like just financially, it's so hard to get like financial stability, especially for studios, and that's why like studios just close all of a sudden. But think of it like this: if you had an opportunity, this is why a lot of people used Epic Game Store and did the exclusive deal. If Epic came to you or Microsoft and said, hey, how much money have you spent on this game? Well, I mean, we've already spent, let's say, $500,000 developing this game right now, so we're $500,000 in the hole that we need to make back selling the game, and plus we have to make a profit. And Microsoft's like, hey, check it out, you put us exclusively on our pass for a year and I will just give you $500,000 right now. Which, like, well, yeah, okay. Who in their right mind would not take that deal? It's like, yeah, take that in a heartbeat, because now I have the financial security to know it doesn't even matter if our game dies or people don't play the game or don't care about it, because I know at least I still will get the money back that we invested to put into the game. And, if people love it and it gets out there to a bigger audience of people, people are going to give our game a try, because it's like, hey, it's on the Game Pass, try it on the Game Pass. And more people are going to be willing to give the game a try than, trying to sell it for like $30, $40, $50 and people being very, because there are definitely, don't get me wrong, there are definitely people who are not sheepish about buying games, but there are a lot of people that I like, at least in my experience, I know a lot of people who are very sheepish about buying a game day one. Like they just don't. They just like, no, I wait for a sale, or this game doesn't feel good enough to me. But when you have a Game Pass, that argument goes out of the window. It's like, all right, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. I want to wrap this conversation up by saying that I am not going to allow you to spread false information like you just did there, Ethos.
What did I spread that was false?
Lawbreakers did not kill Cliffy B Studio. It was that 5-month passion project, Radical Heights.
No.
Never.
No.
No.
He did Radical Heights because the
shit.
studio effectively was running out of money, so they tried to do grab money fast scheme.
Fuck that game. I just wanted to say that.
There's actually fans of it that want it back. That's the crazy part. There's
Ashy ass game, bro. That was the original Sonic Frontiers. That shit was ashy.
No.
Oh my god, the mumble goes.
Yeah. Whoa, what?
Oh.
Somebody's mic just went, oh.
Oh, well,
Discord spazzed.
Recording.
I don't know. No, about Radical Heights. There's actually still fans of that. There's actually fans of Lawbreakers. In retrospect, I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel bad for Lawbreakers a lot.
It was a good game.
Because I don't think it was a bad game. Now that I look back on it and I'm like, I think about the mechanics and stuff, it was just a very difficult game. But I think it was a good game. And I think, I'm not gonna lie, I know somewhere Cliffy probably just sat there when all the Blizzard shit was hitting the fan, just sitting there like, damn, I really died. My game died because of this, because of the Overwatch comparison and stuff like that. And then Overwatch ended up, basically shooting itself in the foot. It's like, damn.
It wasn't just Overwatch. Hold on. I agree. It was a good game, and I always advocated for Lawbreakers. It was just that it was hard. It was more akin to like Unreal Tournament.
Yeah.
It was a twitchy shooter. The problem was Cliffy B was a jackass. And he kept not only it was getting compared to Overwatch, but then he was like shitting on people who enjoyed games like that, because he was like, oh, our game takes skill to play. Like, bro, if you want people to play it, just be nice.
Hey, don't get me wrong, I completely agree with you. I think that like half of the reason why Lawbreakers flopped was because of Cliffy himself. I think Cliffy is a really smart dude. Would love to ever have a conversation or talk with him or something like that about just his stuff, because like the shit he did with Unreal, the Unreal games and stuff like that, and how he was like a rock star at Epic. Dude has multitude of stories. I'm positive about it. But yeah, I think I don't know. I think it was just one of those things that just ate at him about was the Blizzard thing, and I think I agree with you, especially after like all the interviews. I think his interviews did not do the game any favor. It actually was a detriment to the game. But I think on top of that, I feel like it was like a give and take, right? It was like, I don't think Cliffy just out of the gate was just like, I'm just going to compare this to Overwatch. I think it was when the game got revealed, a lot of people were just immediately comparing it to Overwatch, and then he had to immediately, that was what he had to try to push. That's where the game got landed, and then he tried to do his best to do, but I just think he worded everything poorly. But no, I agree with you. I don't disagree with your assessment at all.
I also think he was a victim of the era too. Like, when did that come out? Came out 2017. Yeah, he was still kind of. I still feel like we're like in the early stages of the internet. Like in 2022, even though it doesn't seem like that was that long ago, but in 2022, I do feel like there's enough data to know that like how you should conduct yourself online. I feel like 2017, there were still remnants of motherfuckers talking wild on the internet, because I remember he got roasted too for when he was talking about like Rihanna and saying that like, oh, she's not, what is she saying? She's saying babble in her song, and then people were like, he's speaking patois. Like, it's an actual language. Like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, it was that. And then I remember he also got a lot of shit because back when he was like doing Gears and Gears 2, he always would shit on the PC originally and say that. And then it didn't help on top of that he then was like making fun of Xbox fanboys or Xbox because he didn't let Lawbreakers go to Xbox. He had a deal with Sony. But that was kind of sad too, because it's like those are the people that were like, that was like that's your fan base, like that. Those are people that rode with you, like when you did Gears and stuff. Like, okay, that's your homies, and you just shot them in the foot.
I know what I was trying to articulate. I think game companies have gotten better in the last 5 years at trying to create a community around their game. Like, as before, it was still kind of that era, just like release a game and like whatever. But like every game now has like every game has a Discord now. That was exactly what I was about to say. Every game has a Discord now. Like, every game has a community manager, and you usually know who that. If you're in that community, you know that community on Twitter. Like, that was like, even though it wasn't that long ago, like it's wild to like think about. Like, it wasn't really like that back then. So it was like the idea of the internet. I think it was still kind of like fresh with the gaming community and shit. And I don't know, just a victim of the era, bad press, and the game was hard. It's crazy. The game came out August 8th, 2017. That's crazy. That's my birthday. No wonder I like the game. That's crazy. That's my birthday, for those unaware. So be ready to drop some gifts. Any Lawbreaker takes before we wrap this one up, Jay?
No, I mean, I like Lawbreakers. I was sad that it died, but it was too much of a dude bro type of hero shooter, and like I said, I think it was more of a victim of bad timing, Because if there was no such thing as Overwatch, I think it would have been a little bit more successful. But like you all said, like Cliffy B and its comments kind of, you know, made it worse and ultimately led to its demise.
Yeah, you did play a lot of Lawbreakers back then. That was back when you were younger and you actually played games. That's crazy.
When I had time and not a family, you know, we did a lot of growing since 2017.
You got kids now? What the fuck?
I know,
That's crazy. That's crazy, though. That's crazy that you can document your gaming career. Like it's almost like a BC and then after game or whatever. It's like, yeah, after I had a kid, this is my gaming career. You'll beat Yakuza one day. I have faith. What's your closing statement for? What's your closing statement for Game Illuminati episode 128, Jay? Go.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you all for listening to another podcast. I told you all we are super consistent. We're giving you quality content bi-weekly. We are staying to our true selves, never deviating from it. We're getting a lot more eyes on us. So like I said, please, for everyone who continues to listen to us and support Game Illuminati, just share the content and you know, tell a friend. Word of mouth still works too. Like, hey man, you heard about Game Illuminati? Like they're really giving us the stuff. Like if you don't know what new games are coming out or the hot topics in gaming, like just give them a listen. Like that still works. So just make sure that you all share the content if you really mess with us. And like I said, we got some more things that are coming in the near future. So appreciate y'all.
I saw you tweet about that, like having more eyes on us. I must be out the loop because I don't know what the hell you talking about. You're gonna have to tell me off the day I'm recording.
I didn't have a conversation with y'all.
Okay, yeah, Ethos. Yeah, let's wrap this one up. Ethos, what's your closing statement for 128? Go.
Oh, I was gonna say that other topic that JG wanted to talk about.
Oh, I was gonna save it. Just save it. I'll ask you after this.
Okay, that'll be later. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. I don't know when this video goes up, but if it's later or if it's before that, whatever it is, Samurai Zero will be at the OTK Festival, and we'll be at the Black Voices of Gaming, and we'll be at the IGN GameSpot Guerrilla Collective thingamabob and all their stuff. Basically, if you're watching any of those,
what are the dates for those?
Oh man, it's just this whole week. Just you're gonna see us this whole week. We're gonna be the OTK thing's on Wednesday, so it'd be the
it'll be up before Wednesday
2 p.m. Yeah, okay, so if it's before that, yeah, Wednesday 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're curious about Samurai Zero, we have a bunch of brand new stuff that's going to be coming out. I'll be getting interviewed by Asmongold and a bunch of cool stuff on top of that. So if you're interested in just supporting or if you're curious to see more about my game, you can check it out there. We have like a bunch of cool stuff that we've been working on behind the scenes. There's a lot of other stuff that currently I'm under contract I can't speak about right now, but there's a lot of moves happening right now. There's a lot of really awesome stuff and good vibes going on this month. So make sure you keep a lookout. Follow me on Twitter and follow Samurai Zero at PlaySamurai0 on Twitter to keep up to date. That's it.
Yes, sir. And my closing statement for episode 128 is Radical Heights sucks, but this podcast doesn't. So make sure to hit the like button if you're watching the YouTube version at youtube.com/GI updates. If you're on the audio version, whether it's Apple or Spotify, rate it 5 stars. You guys have been killing it rating the show 5 stars on the audio version, man. Like you said, we're getting some eyes on us, eyes that I didn't even know about. That's crazy. And that's all because you guys are hitting that 5-star rating on Apple and Spotify. So until next time, we appreciate you guys listening to the show, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Gaming Illuminati podcast. Peace.